Good afternoon. I think we need to pull up your sound a little bit. I can't hear you very well. Mr. Carlton, give him a little more sound.
Man, we're up.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, do you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you quite well.
Okay, very well. I think we're good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it's a privilege to be with you this afternoon for the interview and to spend some time with a gentleman. They tell me that's 102 years of age. This is wonderful. I'd like for you to state your name, please. The sound's not picking up.
My name is Sollie Mitchell. How about that?
Okay, would you state your name again, please?
Sollie Mitchell.
Sollie Mitchell?
Right.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell. And Mr. Mitchell, when were you born?
I was born in Oslo, Georgia.
And what year?
In 1918.
1918. Wonderful. Beautiful. And I want to ask you who your parents were.
My parents were, my father was named George Mitchell, and my mother was named Flossie Mitchell.
Okay.
We were not related. That get mixed up sometimes. It was a Mitchell that married a Mitchell.
Oh, okay. A Mitchell married a Mitchell. Yeah. Uh-huh. So husband, wife. And how many siblings are in? How many sisters and brothers?
No sisters.
So you're the one and only.
Only.
How fine. I see. Well, just tell us a little bit about your early years. Where did you go to school?
First, I went to school at a church in Georgia, Midway Baptist. I went there for my first 3 grades.
Uh-huh.
But when I moved to Jacksonville, I went to New Develop in 3rd grade.
In 3rd grade, wow. So you came to Florida early. You came to Jacksonville early.
1931.
1931, all right, as a child. Beautiful. And how about any high school or any other education that you had a chance to receive?
I was at the Villa. Professor Reyes was the principal at that time. So when I came to the Villa, I repeated 3rd grade.
I see.
I was very bashful.
All right.
The teacher asked me to get up and read. I don't know what, but I was very bashful. And guess what?
Yeah.
I had to say but as I was reading, and I couldn't say it because of the fact that in Georgia, you don't speak that word, but that was a part of the body.
Oh, I got you. And so you couldn't use that word.
Right.
Yes, I can see. So now, once you got to Jacksonville, what did you enjoy in Jacksonville as a child?
As a child, I enjoyed very well. I was active in my grammar school. I was active in the high school.
I bet you were.
I was president of
You were the president of what?
my grammar school, my high school, and also my college. I was president of the class.
Oh, wow. Well, you were highly respected in your class.
I don't know.
I'm sure you were. Highly respected. If you were the president, they thought a lot of you. Yes. What was your favorite subject? Math? Uh-huh.
Love to deal with people.
Uh-huh. So you enjoyed math.
Man, I'm sorry, math and science. I'm sorry that I didn't take up more history
Mm-hmm.
because I would have known about our history.
Yes, sir. Well, you've had time over the years to know a lot of our history. So I'm sure you've had time to kind of catch up and feel comfortable now in understanding the history. And you are our history. You are our great history, especially with 102 years of age. That's wonderful. You bring a lot to us today. And I'm very honored to be with you. Very honored. Yes, sir. So, brother, after you got out of high school and kind of moved around a little bit, what were some of your work activities?
Well, I didn't have many activities.
Mm-hmm.
I lived with a family in Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when I got out of school, I had to go there and go to work.
Yes, sir.
My aunt was a maid for a family. And in the summertime, she wouldn't let me shoot marbles. She wouldn't let me play with the boys. She took me to work with her. So therefore, when my aunt became ill, the white lady, Miss Mary Sim, said, well, Della, give me Sally, and when you get well, you can come to work, come back to work. She lived to be 100, never went back to work. But what happened, I stayed out 2124 College Street with the Sims family until I was drafted in the service.
Mm-hmm. So you stayed at 2124 Cottage Street.
Right.
In
The house
Jacksonville.
is still there.
Oh, the house is still there.
Right.
Uh-huh. And so you stayed with them until you were drafted.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And so what branch of the military? You went to the Army?
Yeah, I was drafted.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me a little bit about going in the Army. What year was that? Uh-huh.
I stayed in there until I was discharged.
Okay. Uh-huh. What did you do in the Army?
I was company clerk.
Okay.
I was company clerk.
Uh-huh.
And when I was at Benning, I worked in the general's office. And when I was overseas, I worked in General Douglas MacArthur's office.
Oh, you did? In MacArthur. Uh-huh. So tell us a little bit about those days.
Well, what happened, I went to Benning, and they were supposed to ship me to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Frank Cooper a good friend of mine was already at Fort Benning, and he told Colonel James that there's a fellow can type. I took up every occupation that I could when I took tailoring, I took painter, I took print, and then I took up cooking.
Wow. You're a busy man. So you took up tailoring, you took up printing, you could type, and then you could cook. You could do just about everything. Yeah, which one did you like the best?
This,
Can you speak up a little louder? I can't hear you. Which one did you like the best? Cooking? You like good food? I said you like good food.
right. I also took up typing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I took up typing.
Uh-huh.
Took up everything that I typing, tailoring, and cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the first boys cooking class at Old Stanton
Oh.
under Miss Rooks. I was in that first class when they organized cooking for boys.
Mm-hmm. Cooking for boys.
Right.
And what was the teacher's name again?
Miss Rooks.
Roots.
Rooks. R-O-U-X.
Okay, I got it.
I was
Uh-huh.
in that class.
I see. And where did that take place, your cooking class?
What did I do? Where did that take place? In Stanton. Stanton. I was in the first organized cooking class for boys at Old Stanton.
At Old Stanton School in Jacksonville.
Right.
Yes, yes. Uh-huh. Wow. So what else did you enjoy while you were at Stanton, Old Stanton?
Well, that was about it because as soon as I was out of class, I had to go to work.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
You went to work. What type of work did you do?
cooking,
Cooking?
loves family, and doing everything else that they needed, like cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
and driving Miss Sam.
I see. Mm-hmm. Well, they had great faith in you that you could drive them around and prepare food for them. They really trusted you.
Yes, Miss Sam, like a mother. Because
She was like a mother, you said?
like a mother.
Uh-huh.
She got the PTA meeting, took me to Florida Memorial.
Uh-huh.
Florida Normal at that time.
Yes.
So when I finished Stanton,
Mm-hmm.
I had a full scholarship at Tuskegee.
Wow.
And at Tuskegee, the male students had to wear a uniform. That
Uh-huh.
was $100. I didn't have it back in 19. So Judge Emerson Thomas and our good friend. So he said, why don't you go to Florida Normal? But I didn't have 39 cents to go there, but I did have a bicycle. So I rode a bicycle from Jacksonville to St. Augustine to Anacostia. So when I got there, I told Miss Felder, who was secretary of Florida Normal at the time, I came over here for a scholarship. She said, son, we don't have scholarship. Mm-hmm. So I told her, that's what I came over here for. She said, what can you do? I said, I can cook. Mm-hmm. She said, if you can cook and you rode a bicycle from Jacksonville to St. Augustine, I got to take you in there and let you talk with the president. So the president put me in college. Mm-hmm. I stayed at Florida Normal. By me being old at the time, I was over 18. Mm-hmm. I was called to the military. I see. And that's where I was.
Well, you had no choice. You had to go to the military when they called. And you went to the Army, if I remember what you said, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you went to the Army, and so you had to give Uncle Sam a little bit of your time. Mm-hmm. And you went to Fort Benning? Uh-huh. I see.
And when the ladies, when they organized the Women's Corps, mm-hmm. which when the ladies began to join out, they came in and took our jobs. So I had to leave. So I made out my own orders and went to Aberdeen Proving Ground. Mm-hmm. And at Aberdeen, I took my courses there and turned around and was an ammunition teacher for a while until they said you got to go from here. So that's when I was transferred to the Southwest Pacific. Mm-hmm. And from the Southwest Pacific, I was placed in the 578th Ordnance Ammunition. They needed a clerk. They used me because I could type.
You could type, yeah.
Right. And I kept a record of all of the soldiers. Mm-hmm.
Well, you had a very prestigious job. You kept a record of all the soldiers. You had to be accurate. So that's when your math skills came in.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
At one of the time, it was so. And I stayed there until they were sending me to Japan. Mm-hmm. And while at sea, before I reached Japan, they dropped the atomic bomb. Mm-hmm. And then, but they shipped me on in there anyway. Mm. I said, well, I can go home now. They said, nope. So I went there, made a good friend with the Japanese people. I used to travel all over Tokyo. I even been in the belly of the Buddha.
Oh?
Yes, ma'am. I've been in the belly of the Buddha, and I've been in the arms of the Statue of Liberty. Mm-hmm. And also been Empire State Building in
New York. Yes, sir.
I've experienced all of that.
That's wonderful. You've experienced what so many people will never have a chance to experience. Yeah.
Made good friends with the Japanese people. and able to be this tough.
Mhm.
So I told my company that I said I want to be this.
Mhm.
Go back home.
I see. So you want to come back home to Florida?
Yes.
Yes, sir. To Jacksonville?
Yes.
I see. Why did you want to come back home?
Nothing like Jacksonville and New York.
I see. Well, now I understand that you work for the railroad also.
Yes. I was the holder on the Freedom Train. And I was a check-out tenor. And I had a chance to meet a lot of good people.
Mhm.
The Duke of Windsor, I even got the paper for him in Washington, D.C. When he came over to visit Waller in Baltimore, I talked with him.
Mhm.
Talked.
Mhm.
The comedian, I can't call his name now, but he had a whole train. But a whole lot of stuff up there.
Mhm.
But I'm happy to be back in Jackson.
Yes. Did you ever meet? Did you ever meet A. Philip Randolph?
Oh, I was a secretary.
You did.
Speaking.
What do you remember about him?
Well, I remember that he was a very good negotiator. While being his secretary, I was able to travel and negotiate all over the country.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed
I can imagine you did.
writing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very happy to see what I see now.
Mhm.
People like you who are up with the modern world. And I thank you. I thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm just honored to be with you. I want you to tell me about your outfit, what you have on here, because it looks so
Well,
nice.
I have on an Army outfit. I was promoted from a private to staff sergeant. So
Mhm.
this is a staff sergeant outfit that I have on with all the honors that were given to me while I was in the service.
Mhm.
All of these you see on my chest
I see.
are representation of the things that I've done while I was in the service,
I see.
of the honors that I received
Yes. Yes.
while I was in the service.
While you were in the service. How many years were you in the service? 4? Uh-huh.
4 years, 4 months, and 20 days.
Oh, you got it down to a science.
I was inducted at 5, so I was discharged.
I see. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So you had a lot to be thankful for, that you were able to enjoy the service and come out of the service with a good health.
Not injured.
Mm-hmm.
And since Tony here, don't know what he saw in me, but he took me. I traveled with him, met the president with him,
Of course.
President Obama.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We became good friends. The fella that with me now is George Clarkson. He's everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who sees that I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Clarkson is the one that takes good care of you.
Yes.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And what church do you belong?
I belong now. I belong to Second Baptist. I remember Second Baptist.
Second Baptist
Yeah, on Kings Road.
on Kings Road?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I know where that is in Jacksonville.
Well, when I joined Second Baptist, the old church was not completed. We had service in the basement and went upstairs, and now they got a beautiful building. And I joined in 19 when I first came to Jackson. But I have good preachers, McKissick.
Oh, yes.
McKissick. When I've only been in the hospital one time. He was the first minister to come and pray for me before my pastor came. And I knew him before he became a minister when he was a mayor carrier.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that Rev used to carry mayor, but he was a mayor.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So what do you like doing at the church? I know you.
At the church?
Uh-huh.
I'm emeritus now. I was chairman of the trustee board at historic Mount Zion AME Church for 20 years. I am the one who was able to secure that whole square. Reverend Mitchell and I was chairman of the trustee board, and we were able to secure that whole lot. That historic Mount Zion is on now.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment.
Oh.
I mean, you helped everybody to do something like that. Right. Many generations down, we'll always go back and have a nice place to see and stand and know that God was in the plan of setting that up through you. Through you. He gave you the vision.
Years ago, we didn't have air conditioning, so I'm responsible. I was chairman when we got air conditioning. Then my family cushioned the seat. So, wonderful wife.
What was your wife's name?
Mary B. Mitchell. Mary Bonnet Mitchell. Home economics teacher at Old Stanton and New Stanton.
Oh, and Newsstand, huh? Oh, the Newsstand High School. Mm-hmm. So since any other materials you want to share at Standard, were you involved in any of the sports? I know you said you had to work a lot, and usually when you finish school classes, you had to go straight to work with Miss Sims, would pick you up and give you your ride to work.
Yeah, I had a bicycle.
Yeah, you told me about the bicycle and riding it all the way to St. Augustine. That's a long ride. To go to Florida Memorial. That was quite a ride. But you were determined. That's the main thing. You were very determined. And that's very strong. And of course, you've seen they had a very nice church life so far. Being that you at Mount Zion AME Church, and then you've been with McKissick at Second Baptist in Jacksonville. So you've been extremely active. And then prior to that, you were in the military in the Division of Army, and got a chance to go to Japan and visit there. And you told me you were an excellent cook, and I'm sure you were. What was your favorite recipes? What did you like to cook?
Not fancy, just right.
But you just love good food. I can imagine you did a wonderful job in there preparing that food also. And then also you mentioned that you had many trades. You were a cook, you were printing, you could type. That's what carried you into the offices to work, because you could type. And then being in the office, you had to keep up with the soldiers and so forth. That's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility. And I'm sure you handled that extremely well, extremely well. And wanted to come back to Jacksonville after all of that travel. Mm-hmm.
Really?
So you mentioned that, I want to mention that you worked at CSX, right?
No.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I was one of the first three for them to elevate me from a chair car to management.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Taylor, James Lewis, and me. The railroad elevated us up from James Lewis was a chair car attendant. Oscar was I think Oscar was a cook, and they elevated him. The three of us did.
I see.
So I've had a good life.
I believe that. I really believe that. Yes. So you've had travels and you've had a chance to meet people, some of the people in high positions throughout the world, not just local people.
Yeah, even the Pope. Rome, Italy. I met the Pope. I stayed in Italy, Rome, Italy a week. So I even went up to his summer home while in Tokyo.
So you went up to the summer home, and give me his name again?
The Pope.
Oh, the Pope?
The Pope was,
Uh-huh.
no, it wasn't Francis of Assisi, that was the one before the present Pope.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yep. I just wish that I had been interested in what I was doing then, like I am now. I would have been able to see things. Now, when I went in the chapel in Rome,
Mhm.
they had several chapels, but I just wished I had been more into it than I was just to visit.
Mhm. Well, I guess we learn by living. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a lot out of it then. And then you could think back over what you saw, and that could kind of help you to think of other things. Say, well, I wish I had done this or done that, but that's okay. That's you were there at the right time. Things happen at the right time. Yeah, your travels have been outstanding, and your knowledge of people and places are still great. I mean, wonderful. Could you mention a little bit about your living in Jacksonville? And of course, you worked for CSX, the railroad. Did you do any other activities in Jacksonville?
Worked with the Masons over on 6th and Main.
Okay, I understand that you are a Mason.
The second highest Mason in the state of Florida.
Second highest Mason in Florida. Wow.
Florida in the southern jurisdiction.
So you were 33,
53.
33. Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Well, I have to respect that. Yes, indeed.
You an Eastern Star?
No, I'm not.
Oh, good.
No, but I know about the Eastern Stars. My grandmother was an Eastern Star. My grandfather was a Mason.
Good.
But no, I'm not.
Did your grandfather live in Jacksonville?
No, he lived in North Carolina. Uh-huh. Yeah, he lived in North Carolina. His name was Matthew Willis Hartley. And he was very active in Raleigh, North Carolina. Uh-huh. And your grandfather, you're saying something and I can't hear you.
I said my grandfather came from North Carolina.
Your grandfather came from North Carolina?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Paul Smith, PP. Paul Smith was from North Carolina. I don't know which city or county he came from. I just know he was from North Carolina.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Do you know any history about your early family, like during the time of slavery? Do you remember any names of family members or friends from the time of slavery, like your great-grandparents?
My grandfather and my dad. That's all I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit back.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me, what would you like for us to remember? Anything you want to just tell us that I have not asked you?
You have asked me just about all. But treat everybody right.
Yes, sir.
Everybody. That's the root of it all.
Treat everybody right.
Right.
As best you know. Mm-hmm.
Just look, I got George and Tony here.
Mm-hmm.
That Tony and Joe. They both have been ousted.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Anything you'd like for us to remember?
Beg pardon?
Anything you want me to remember that you haven't mentioned?
I guess that's about all.
That's about
Just,
it?
right. Just remember, it's about it.
Treat everybody right. I'm going to remember that. Treat everybody right. Mm-hmm.
That'll make it.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to thank you for your afternoon, for coming in to do this interview. It's been very helpful. And I would like to ask just one last thing. During your life and activities, was there any event that you want us to remember? Like maybe when we got President Obama, or when something happened that you want us to remember?
I would like you to remember, I never thought that we have a president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And in this election, a Black woman,
Yes.
vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought. Never thought.
Never thought about it. History is being made.
That one of the highlights of my life. That come this far by faith,
That's right.
depending on the Lord.
That's it.
I pray all the time. I just have to pray all the time, all day and all night. I pray. And I say, thank you, Lord.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And these two that you see here,
Mm-hmm.
lifeline.
Yes, sir.
Lifeline.
Well, God put them there for you.
Didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he does. He knows how to maneuver things. And it doesn't take money to maneuver. It takes faith. And that's what you have. Yes, sir.
Biggest pain I have is an ingrowing toenail.
Uh-huh.
Other than that. But I'm getting it to the point now where I don't remember.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them, but pulling them up and calling their names. And I'm hard on. I was looking in the paper today, and I saw where a good friend of mine had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And did you know what I saw it in the paper this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember it now, but she was a good friend.
I see. I see.
Good friend.
Well,
So,
it's a blessing that you had a chance to know her.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. And the prayers of the righteous availeth much for all situations. And you are a praying man, so that's what has kept you. God looks out for his people. And he looks out for them in ways that we don't understand. But he does it at the right time, and he keeps us. He keeps us. And that's what life is all about. What is your favorite song? What is your favorite song? What do you like? You don't have a favorite? You just like them all.
Music.
You like music. I do too.
Reach
Music keeps
out,
us.
Gladys Knight.
Oh, me too. I love Gladys Knight.
You do?
Yeah, Gladys Knight and the Pimps, I go way back. Yeah, she was out of Detroit. I went to school in Michigan.
Sarah Vaughan,
Sarah Vaughan, yes, I can relate to Sarah.
Mahalia Jackson.
Oh, yes, I knew.
Well, Mahalia Jackson and I she used to ride the train.
Yes, sir.
So I knew her quite.
Uh-huh. Moving on up a little bit higher.
You know, she's the one who was very important in the civil rights movement.
Yes, sir.
Because when King got up to speak, that speech that he had given the committee, put that in his pocket and she punched him in the back and said, how about that dream? How about that?
How about the dream?
Okay. That came, I was on 125th Street when that lady stabbed Sue. See, the railroad, A. Philip Randolph, had an office next to the Apollo Theater. And so I was there when that lady stabbed. Horrible.
Martin Luther King. Yes. But
Daddy Grace, I didn't like him.
You didn't like Grace?
No.
You talking about Grace, the minister?
Yeah, the bishop.
Yeah, Daddy Grace, sweet Daddy Grace.
One of the evangelists, helping children. How about instead of walking along giving children candy, he throw it out. You throw it down on the ground. So, but I was a good friend of Father Divine, though.
Did you know Father Divine?
Yeah.
Wow. What do you think of Father Divine? He's a good.
Better than great.
Yeah.
Father Divine fed a whole lot of us.
Yes, sir.
A whole lot of people in Harlem. 5 cents, get a meal.
5 cents a meal.
Right.
And he had a lot of businesses in Harlem too.
Oh yeah. Daddy Grace.
Yeah, but then he had to go over to stay in Philadelphia on the weekends to keep him from putting him in jail. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, Father Divine. I think Mother Divine, his last wife, she hadn't been dead that long. Yeah, she was white. His last wife, yes. Yes, indeed. And of course, with Daddy Grace, I think he died in 1961, if I remember correctly. But Grace's churches are still here. You know, they say grace is sufficient. Talking about Daddy Grace.
Is that his church on Beaver Street? Is that his faith?
Probably.
Across from Old Stanton High School.
On Beaver Street, probably so. I know one thing about his church is they're always so clean outside. And then they have the white walkways. That's a trademark of Grace, Grace's church. I ate at a Grace's church about, I guess, 8 or 9 months ago. I was up in Georgia, and they serve lunches, and their meals are wonderful. So we went to Grace's church for lunch, and everybody was really happy to go there and eat. The food was excellent, good cooks. I mean, they had all kinds of what we call soul food. You know, the beans and the collard greens and the cornbread. It was nice, very nice. Yeah. So I've eaten at Grace's Church, and with Father Divine, I'm familiar with his movement, Father Divine's movement. Hmm. He was of New Thought, if I remember correctly. But his main thing was to help people to get on their feet, because he had all kinds of businesses. If you came in his organization and he found out that you had a skill, he was going to put you to work in that skill. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm familiar with both of them. Mm-hmm. Did you know R.C. Lawson out of New York? Lawson, Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ of the Apostolic Faith. Probably didn't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Only familiar with the Baptist movement.
Baptist? Uh-huh. Okay, so you, let me see. So you knew Adam Clayton Powell? Adam Clayton Powell was Baptist.
He was my pastor.
Adam Clayton Powell was your pastor?
In New York.
In New York? Wow, now you really hit a nerve. Yeah, he was also a representative, from New York. Uh-huh. Yeah. I never got to meet him, but I did read about him, and I've seen a lot of his work over the years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was New York, right up in Holland. Did you ever hear F.D. Washington in Harlem? The Church of Church of God in Christ. He was over in Bethesda. Okay. Mm-hmm. But still, you knew a lot, I'm telling you. I'm really impressed, very much impressed with your understanding and knowledge and working with people. I mean, you seem to have been able to work with people at the top of the line, those on the wherever, you fitted right in. And that means a lot, but that comes with grace. And that's God's grace to make it sufficient for you. Yes, sir. Well, I am going to say that we're going to close out our interview for today. And today is Friday. And I have the time of 2:55 p.m. on Friday afternoon. And I want to thank you so much for your time, for your beautiful outfit, for your smile, and for your determination to live for the Lord. And that's what it's all about. Thank you.
And two. Tony.
They can come over. I can get their picture on the screen here. I still have the screen up.
All right, we'll come on over.
Tony,
and George.
Okay, both of you. Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. DuPree.
All right. And he's going to have a good meal afterwards and a chance to get a little nap. All right. I tell you what, do this. Give me your name so I'll have it on the screen. Tony, give me your name.
Tony Hill.
All right. And
Senator Tony.
And
Senator.
Yes, I know. Senator Tony Hill for the state of Florida. Yes, very much impressed. And he works with the African American Studies program and other programs throughout, so many programs. And this gentleman, would you give me your name?
George Lawson.
George?
Lawson. He's a law.
Son.
That Lawson, put C in front of Lawson, you got Clausen.
Oh, Clausen. Okay, I got it. Mr. Clausen. Yes. And I see you in the Air Force. All right, wonderful. I see you with your hat there. So you have a lot to share with history too. All right, gentlemen, thank you again and have a good afternoon.
You too, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.